The Ridgely House in Port Elizabeth is an abandoned set of terraced buildings that strike fear into the heart of residents of the area. Visitors, adventurers, and paranormal experts have encountered multiple residual hauntings in the house, and one poltergeist who may harm anyone who enters. I release new videos daily, so please subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified as soon as I upload. And if you have any comments and suggestions, leave them down below. I'd also like to shout out Renal Van Wyck for always being the first to comment on my videos. In 1960, in Mill Park, Port Elizabeth, William James Wills commissioned the building of a row of terraced houses. While there isn't much information on what he intended the building to be used for, it did eventually serve many different purposes. In its early life, it spent some time as a general nursing home. Then, when Hitler invaded Poland and World War II started, it served as a brothel, and when the war ended, Ridgely House was converted into a boarding house. Considering its history, it's safe to say that many deaths and tragedies have taken place in the house, which could account for its many residual hauntings and its one malevolent spirit. A haunting is usually categorized by the amount of harm its subject, the spirit or ghost, can do. In residual hauntings, the spirit can do very little or no harm. These spirits are created by a traumatic or painful death, which blasts negative energy into the atmosphere at the time of death. The ghost of the person who died now relives that moment and the moments before over and over like an echo of itself. An example of this would be the haunted Horseman of the Toky Manor house. A malevolent spirit or poltergeist is created when a particularly evil person dies. This person's energy is darker, and instead of just leaving an imprint on the world around it, it leaves a part of the person, the evil part, which then tries to harm the living beings around it, and often succeeds. Visitors, adventurers, and paranormal experts who enter the Ridgely House often encounter a nun who is accompanied by the chilling cries of an unseen baby. This spirit is probably from the early life of the house when it was a nursing home. The screams of the child may have been a baby who died under the nurse's care. Other spirits encountered are a woman and a child in period clothing, which could be from any time in the history of the house. The last residual spirit encountered is a grumpy man in a grey coat who storms through the dining room to the kitchen, where he rattles the pots and pans in frustration. Judging by his anger and grey coat, my best guess is that this man had died in the house during wartime. The final ghost in the house is the Malevolent one. No information is provided on whether the ghost is male or female, but what we do know is that it appears in the domestic quarters of the house and tries to strangle the staff members. This ghost is probably a previous staff member who may have been murdered at the house. The Ridgely House still stands in Port Elizabeth today, and while it's abandoned, there doesn't seem to be any information on what will happen to it. Whether it will reopen or be destroyed is still a mystery at this time. Please subscribe as I release new videos daily on worldwide ghost stories, true crime, TV, and movie reviews. Until next time, this is Darklight Productions, signing off.